Hello everyone, welcome back to Emstine TV. In today's video, we are going to be looking at Africa in general. What are we going to be looking in Africa? We are going to be looking at one question which was asked, which is the most successful country in Africa between Botswana, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, Rwanda and other. Which one is the most successful among these countries? So this is what we are going to be looking at in this video. Thanks to my returning subscribers. If you are new to the family, please do consider subscribing and turning on your notification bell. To my returning subscribers, you guys are the best. Much love. So your points of views are highly appreciated, as you will be sharing them in the comment section so that we get to know which country is the most successful in Africa when we get it from this video. At independence, Botswana was the poorest country in Africa, the drought-stricken nation surrounded by the Kalahari Desert, contained 5 kilometers of routes and one high school. Its GDP per capita stood at $1,000, and half of the government budget was supplied by Britain. Today, Botswana is Africa's oldest and most successful democracy. It has the lowest corruption in Africa. Its economic growth tops 5% and shows no signs of slowing down. In one generation, the average income of Botswana has increased 15-fold. The rapid transformation of Botswana can be credited to its first president, Seretse Khama, and Botswana's unique culture. Seretse Khama was the grandson of Paramount Chief Khama the Great. While in London, Seretse broke taboos and married a white woman, which was a taboo in their country. Seretse returned home and defended himself in front of the Gotla. What was Gotla? The Gotla was the central meeting place in Setswana culture. It served to dispense justice, create laws, and advise the chief. Important decisions could not be made until it had been debated in the Gotla. The Gotla would later serve as the foundation for Botswanan democracy. The Gotla overwhelmingly sided with Seretse and overturned the decision of the king. At home, Seretse joined the Legislative Council, that is the LEDCO, that the British had established and pushed for Botswanan independence. He founded a pro-independence political party called the Botswana Development Party, which won 81% of the vote in Botswana's first national elections. Almost all Botswana Development Party's leaders had attended secondary school, and more than half were teachers. They traveled abroad, learning from the successes and mistakes of other African nations. They brought specialists from other countries and created a meritocratic bureaucracy. They live like the Botswanas. They govern frugally and without excesses. In fact, the ministers all drove pickup trucks. They drafted a constitution that balanced the role of tradition with secular power. Local governments composed of only elected individuals were created. That is, their constitution and their type of government they created at that time, which goes as: number one, local government composed of only elected individuals were created. Two, a house of chiefs was created to advise the National Assembly. 3. Seretse resigned his chieftaincyship and a law was made that no man could be both a chief and a representative. According to law number 3, no one was supposed to hold two posts at the same time in Botswana. 4. Chiefs retained their power as local administrators. Chiefs were supposed to be chiefs and maintain their local powers and were supposed to be respected as an administrator in their locality. 5. National non-partisan courts were established. 6. There was no mention of tribal or racial allegiances anywhere. All Botswanas were Botswanas. 7. The Gotla tradition of consultation was embraced and incorporated into local and national government. 8. They focused on addressing people's needs: clean water, infrastructure, education, and livestock. The Botswana Development Party project any isms and approach policy purely from a perspective of benefiting the people. Seretse proclaimed that the foreign policy of my government will be dictated by reasons and common sense. Our first duty will be toward the people of this country rather than to any war political ideology. His protege messiahs also said, "We do not care whether we are called capitalists or socialists. What interests us is to see Botswana develop." Under the leadership of Seretse and the development of the Botswana Development Parties, Botswana's economy grew by 10% annually for almost 30 years. In the most successful case study of a post-colonial African country, Botswana was completely transformed and modernized. Unlike many other countries in Africa, no president ever tried to centralize power. They couldn't. Botswana's strong tradition and culture limited the power of executives and made them accountable to the people. Thus, the only way to retain power was to observe the rule of law and gain the support of the people, something that has been continuously occurring since 1950. Modern-day Botswana has a lower level of corruption than Japan and Belgium. It is difficult to overstate the success story that is Botswana. By evolving its traditional culture, Botswana built strong democratic institutions that in turn created a robust economy. The humanity and modesty of Botswana culture and tendency to plan for the future has created far-sighted and sustainable policy. Learning from the failures of the countries around it, Botswana avoided the pitfalls of racial violence and authoritarianism. It has been more than 60 years since Seretse made his impassioned speech to the courtier about bringing his British bride home. Nowadays, different challenges faces Botswana, such as HIV and AIDS epidemic and COVID. But Botswana's greatest asset has been its democracy, and as long as that survives, there is great hope that this country can adapt and continue its success into the future. That is the answer to this question, and so many people have shared their own point of view concerning these answers. So let's check what people are saying concerning these answers. Someone says Botswana also happens to be most homogeneous country in Africa. Another one says not only it is most homogeneous, argument racist in nature, it is also wrong. Botswana's largest ethnic group is the Swana, which is about 79% of the population. Ethnic groups in Botswana, the Hutus in Rwanda, make up 85% of the population. Ethnic groups in Rwanda, similar for the Somalis of Somalia, and these are just a couple of nations randomly checked. Burundi has a similar trend too. Someone says it is correct that Botswana is a huge success. It is, however, not correct that at the time of independence, Botswana was the poorest country in Africa. Someone debunked the fact that during independence of Botswana, they were not the poorest country in Africa. According to his point of view, he has other countries that were poorer during independence than Botswana. Let's get to see it. If you look at list of countries by past projected GDP, that is the gross domestic product per capita, the World Bank data for the 1960s, you will see that in 1966, Mali, the following countries in Africa were poorer by GDP per capita than Botswana. Which are the countries? We have Mali, Rwanda, Burundi, Lesotho, Somalia, Burkina Faso. He says these countries were poorer than Botswana. Outside of Africa, Nepal and Indonesia were also poorer per capita, and India and China only slightly ahead. Again, what Botswana did was very good, but they did not start out at a very bottom, but close to it, illustrated nicely by a map referring to 1965, shortly before independence of Botswana in its property. Someone says Seretse Khama was the African Lee Kuan Yew, incorruptible and focused on developing his country. If only Robert Mugabe had taken him as a model and not turned into dark side of revenge on the white minority, Zimbabwe could be highly developed country now. Someone debunked the fact. Robert Mugabe did not seek revenge. He sought to advance the equitable distribution of his people's land to accommodate the authentic landowners. The West enacted lawful economic retribution against not just Mugabe but the entire Zimbabwean people. Someone says another very significant factor is the fact that diamond deposits were discovered in Botswana after independence. As a result of this, they were able to avoid neo-colonialism, that is, the more lucrative secondary industry of processing and grinding the diamonds being monopolized by foreign corporations. That is why Botswana seems to be the most successful country in Africa. So that is it about this video. We have many responses as concerning the first answers to this question. Please, the comment section is open. Share your own points of views as which country is the most successful in Africa. Thanks for watching. If you do like the video, please do consider subscribing and turning on your notification, and don't forget to share the video as well. Till next video, stay blessed. Love you all.